with a repeat offender as well, Puma Perl. And Puma, I don't know, but you are like the kind of person that I really do think like gets better and better looking. I mean, you always look good to me, but like you always look better. Like, how do you do it?
Okay, remember how Elvis Presley used to shoot at the television?
No.
No, I shoot at the clock. I get up every day, take the fucking gun and
You do?
that's it.
It's
yeah.
working
yeah.
because
Yeah.
like
Yeah?
yeah,
It's
do you
really
do
working?
To me it is.
Can I get undressed?
Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm coming from like another dimension. I'm coming from the day job. And it's like really fucked up because, you know, that's like this other person. And I usually need like a little time to get from one compartment
Yes.
to the other because this like gets like worn like under the day job.
Ah, you're the coolest, Puma Pearl.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
with
want
the
your tank top.
mermaid.
What?
I want your tank top.
You want my time? Am I gonna get thrown out of here too?
No,
I
I think you won't get
Okay.
thrown out of Otto's. Otto's is
You
like,
have to do a lot to get thrown out of mine.
well, not really. I mean, if you just don't have ID, it's a problem.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Right. So, but you know, you look.
As long as I have ID, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what I do.
Otto's.
That's
We
my
have to give
experience
it.
with Otto's.
Otto's is like one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. So
I know, me too.
it's there's not. You were saying when you walked in.
There's no place like this
No.
left.
No, it has to stay here because
Yeah.
like
Yeah, we love Otto's.
we don't
Shrrunken
have
Head.
like we won't have like that much reason to live anymore except for maybe new covers of Sweet Jane, but
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
really, I mean, like Lakeside Lounge is closing April 30th.
I heard
and
about
everything's
that.
closing, and this is one of the last.
We gotta keep Otto's alive. So come to Otto's Shrunken Head and drink a lot, and support this place on 14th Street between A and B in New York City. It's the best tiki bar in the world.
Yes.
Only tiki bar.
It's the best, and the drinks are just to live for. There you go. Exactly. So, you have a new publication
Yes, I
and
have
a
new
CD?
book. That's this CD. I just brought it for you because
Oh.
like you like stuff. I'm on it,
Okay.
and this is like poets with a band. You know, this band called the
Okay.
Ne'er-do-Wells. And I have a poem about the Mermaid Parade on it. And I actually played it on
Is it
piano.
poetry?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have one on my back too.
Is that the Coney Island Cyclone? Oh,
Yeah.
the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wonder Wheel and I was gonna do the parachute jump.
So what makes you
Yeah.
love mermaids so much? Like, are you a mermaid?
Am I a mermaid? No, I'm not a mermaid. It was just the visual of it. You know, of all of these people coming out and taking that risk and walking. Well, I was walking there
For the parade, you mean?
Yeah. And my association with Coney Island. So when I wanted to do something with Coney Island, it just made sense to put mermaids in there. But the poem about the mermaids called "The Best Day of the Year" is actually about the parade because for a lot of people it's
It's
the
a
best
fun
day of the year.
day.
This is the best day of the year.
I have been to
Yeah.
some of them,
Yeah.
which I love it when it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
When it's kind of rainy and gross,
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
make it the best
You really
day.
need hot. So like then
It's
if
so
you, if you,
good when it's
yeah.
hot.
And
I
if you,
love
right?
it.
It's good. And if you paint
so
your
much
body,
fun.
yeah, then you jump in the ocean and
Yeah.
all the paint comes off and then you go.
And you're
"Fuck."
hanging out with all those mermaids.
Yeah.
You feel like
Yeah.
one of the gang.
You are.
Exactly.
I know.
So, all right. So you have that on here.
That's for you. Yeah.
Thank you. And this.
And this is my new book.
So you're gonna
Called
read
Ruby
us
True.
one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll read you one.
Jen is a poet as well.
I know.
And we all met.
Yes, we know
Mama
each other.
Palooza is how
That's
I met you.
originally.
And
that's
you.
true. Yeah.
We love Joy Rose, Mama Palooza. It's almost May, so it's almost time for Mom Celebration. And we had that Mommy and Me school on today. There you go.
Okay, just to tell you something about this book. It's a story. It's 3 characters. It's Ruby True, it's the Golden Man, and it's Jack from Avenue B. And it's really about people trying to connect, sometimes obsessively, sometimes being afraid to connect. So it's more a story with 29 pages and 29 poems. So I'll just read you something about Ruby, okay? Because that's the central character. Homebound. Ruby was punished on lockdown. She could not leave the house without permission. Permission was not to be granted. She stood on one leg, like a pelican, watched for his car. She planned to surprise him with her blonde wig and black sheath dress. She looked like a starlet. His astonished look was comical, a Ralph Cramden double take. Baby, you're the greatest. He grew more and more enraptured, came close to an unplanned ejaculation. At midnight, he sang up on the roof. I keep on telling you, she chimed in, and he didn't remark on the nasal tone of her voice. Usually he did. After he left, she brushed out the wig, threw the black sheath dress, reeking of sweat and cum, into the bathtub, climbed in with it. Coriander and Coltrane. She thought back to Berkeley. Why did they always fall in love?
Wow.
You never disappoint.
No, she does never. I know. I remember the first time I heard Puma, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
I remember when I made. I remember.
was
Oh,
at
I
the
remember what I did.
bowery-poetry-club.
Yeah, they asked me to do something. I did. What do I write? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh
at the
my
Bowery.
gosh, it was just like
Yeah.
bullseye.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when did you write your first poem? Do you remember? Were you little,
No.
like writing on napkins, or did you
No,
write as a grown up?
No, I wasn't little writing. It was not an accessible activity for me to write
Right.
poems, because writing poems was for smart people, or writing poems was for rich people, or it was for other kinds of people. And I think with younger kids now, like my daughter, it's become something that we can do, like everyone can do,
Right.
which is so fucking awesome.
So wait,
You know,
you
but we
mean
used to not be able to be artists if you were from certain working class kind of places. It just wasn't something you would ever think of.
so what did you think you were gonna do?
I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do, because everything I said I was going to do seemed so beyond my reach that I was extremely goalless. And what I became enraptured by was riding the F train and looking down into Red Hook and the pigeon coops and the ghetto and the clothes on the line, and saying like that, I want to do that, whatever that is. And then I started finding out what that was.
Right.
And I became really, really interested in doing that, because I didn't see anything. Not that anything I could do. I could have done things, but I just either thought it was blocked, or I just wasn't into it. I didn't have any better ideas.
Where'd you
You
grow
know?
up?
In Brooklyn. My
Right.
my parents moved like from the Prospect Park area. They made that white flight, and they moved to like the dregs of like Gravesend. Like I grew up like under the F train on McDonald Avenue. And it wasn't a place you were going to write a poem. You just were not going to write a poem right there. And I just, you reminded me of something that I actually did try to write some stuff. It wasn't poems. You would call it more like flash fiction now,
Yeah.
if you would call it anything. And that a teacher noticed that I was like this writing genius, like in seventh grade. So I was writing some stuff, except my mother found it. And that was the end of it. That was the end of it, you know.
Did
And I
she
mean,
forbid you to keep writing like that?
she didn't forbid me to keep writing. She was just, you know, took everything extremely personally, and
Right.
you know, and I mean, and it was just so. I used to write and burn it.
Wow.
So it's in that poem one
Right,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I did, you know. It's funny because you asked me that, and I kind of blocked it out because I was writing as a secret activity.
That's so cool.
You know, like underground writing.
Right.
So I mean, I guess today we could say, well, that's like really like disposable art.
It's
you know?
almost like bulimia.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like purging and flushing, you know, like
Yeah.
getting rid of what you not really, I don't know, but
Not really bulimia,
no, but you know what I mean?
It's
Like,
not really bulimia.
But it was
No,
secret.
it's destroying your art. That's what it
Yeah.
is. That's the bottom line. It's destroying your art. And I said a pattern in my art being destroyed because through my life
so
until
what
I got
happened? Could you resurrect a lot of it, or like?
you know, every now and again something may be resurrected, but I have like this weird mind where I remember conversations. So that's why I like to write a lot of character-driven stuff. Because I can tell, I like my first book, I don't know if you have Belinda and Her Friends, because that one I was the narrator of, I wasn't a character in it, and well, I'll just give myself away, but what the hell, I'm on the cover, right?
Yeah, it's a great picture.
Yeah, but when I wrote, you know, I forgot what I was just going to say.
You were talking about
Your first
remembering.
Oh, yeah, well, I started writing this book about people who were like all dead, mostly, and it was from the 70s and early 80s, and conversations verbatim came back to me.
Right.
in that book. I'm not saying I remember everything.
Yeah.
But I remember like weird stuff, and that's probably like a thing writers do.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm at the point where I don't think there's any difference in between what kind of art we create.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we see something, or we feel something, and we make more. of it.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. It doesn't really matter. Like, we don't have to call ourselves a writer or a musician or this or that.
It's just an artist.
Well, and I
It's
think-
transformative.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of where the world is going too. I mean, creators are creative. You know, there's this whole advent of just content creation, and it doesn't matter if you're creating dance or poetry or music or it all flows together. And I think that that's kind of the essence of what art is.
Yeah.
You know, just that
Yeah,
creative
expression.
spark.
Yeah, and no one has the right to say what art is.
Yeah.
Except, you know what Andy Warhol said.
Well, yeah, probably because
He said art is anything you can get away with.
yeah. Well,
Something like that.
that's not too different from Duchamp.
What it,
From Dada, it's not too different from the Dada movement.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Found objects and
Yeah.
But it is expression though that comes from inside that sometimes you don't even know where it comes from. But then when it is out there, it's a mirror image of something that mattered or that is a secret or you know that's what I mean. Like that has to purge. Like it has to come out.
If it doesn't, you're just gonna like do other like probably really
Self-destructive
negative stuff.
things.
right.
You know what it is? It's the void is gonna be really tremendous. Because like I said, there's a lot of obsession.
Now, do you
Yeah.
find it's autobiographical or is it totally like fiction?
It's
Like
never,
how-
it's never totally fiction.
Right,
I mean,
how
it's
can
like,
it
or
be?
it's very rarely. I'll put it that way. It's very rarely totally fiction. This is less totally fiction than most stuff. This is very personal.
Right.
It was something that. When was it? Like in 2006, there was some things going on, and I said, "I'm gonna write a book about this."
Wow.
You know, I said, "One of these days, I'm gonna write a book about this." And
Wow.
I never sat down to do it, but then the publishers contacted me, and they said, "We have some extra money, so would you write a book?"
Nice.
Wow.
And I didn't think of it right away. I
Good
said,
for
"Yeah,"
you.
and then I said, "Like, well, what am I gonna write?" And then I was like sitting, like, reading actually, and all of a sudden I knew.
Okay. Yeah. So, do you have any shows coming up?
Oh yeah, I have one tomorrow.
Yeah, what's
DJ at the Bowery.
Okay.
And we have Laura D, who you must
Wow.
know. You know Laura D. Hala Alian, which is one of the most brilliant young poets. And April Jones, who's a young woman from Harlem, who the minute it turned nice out, she put on these denim shorts and fishnets, so she's like my poster girl.
And it's April.
Yeah. And it's April, and I have beautiful girls in my
Yeah.
shows.
Always.
Yes, talented and gorgeous.
Well, like you. Exactly. I know. And it's at the Bowery Poetry Club.
Poetry Club, 308 Barry, 8 o'clock, 8 to 9:30.
And that's
Nice.
April 19th.
Tomorrow is April 19th, Thursday.
Right.
We do it once a month, always an all-girl
And
show.
it's always a Thursday.
Oh yeah, and I have a book party for this book.
When is that?
Book party, May 7th, Monday, 7 o'clock at the Yippee, 9 Bleecker.
Yippee.
Yeah.
The Yippee. Yeah, it's just,
Yippee.
it's
Yeah,
so,
the Yippee.
it's
Yeah.
cute. And your website, how do people find you?
The best thing probably is to Google PUMAPERL, and they'll find my website.
And on our site, too.
And Facebook, and
Yeah.
it's Puma Perl at Gmail. So there's a bunch of-
PERL.
Yes,
Exactly. The Pearl.
yes.
That's you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Come
Thanks a lot for
anytime.
having me.
Anytime, Puma.
Yeah, I'd love to come
You're
back.
like a hero to me.
Good to see
I
you.
know. We'll be back on